G'day, Starlo here. One of the things that people seem to struggle with is where to look for fish, particularly in a new system. So I've come out onto my local estuary today, which I know reasonably well, and I'm just going to show you a few ideas for where to start looking for fish, all the way from the entrance right up to the upper tidal reaches. So I'm starting this morning down the front near the entrance. It's the absolute bottom of the low tide at the moment. I'm just waiting for that very first flush of the incoming tide. What I'm going to do, I'm going to kick off by chasing some flathead, hopefully maybe even a big one. I'm throwing a nice big soft swim bait, so you never know your luck. And then I'm going to start working my way up the system with that tide, and we'll see if we can find some fish. All right. Where's my sunnies? Even on an overcast morning like this, quality polarising sunglasses like my Makos are a big help in cutting the glare and allowing me to see the drop-offs and weed patches. I make sure to check my drag setting too. I'm casting up onto some quite shallow flats here. I'm sitting in maybe a metre of water, but I'm throwing up into just centimetres of water and bringing this lure back out. The water level's already begun to rise, even though the tide's not pushing in hard yet. There's just the slightest amount of movement, but we'll see a pulse of that tide come in. And I do like that first pulse of the incoming tide. I mean, for flathead, my absolute favourite time is probably the last 2 to 3 hours of the run out, but the first hour of the run in can also be really good, especially for the bigger fish, I find. There's just something about that pulse of oceanic water coming in, but actually still pushing the estuary water that's pooled outside the mouth, pushing that back in. I don't know what it is, but they often seem to arc up, and so do dewies. I don't think I'm going to catch a dewey up in this shallower water at this time of day, but you never know your luck. But primarily I'm targeting a flathead. This lure actually floats or suspends at rest, but it does dive a little bit. It's not going very deep at all though. I expect the flatties to be lying up in that really shallow water at this time of the morning, especially with a little bit of broken cloud cover that we've got. Try and get it right up there in the shallows, and I work it with a couple of quick winds and then a pause. Let that lure dart and jink off to the side and look like an injured whiting or mullet, and that's exactly what the flathead are looking for. Erratic actions often seem to work really well on flathead. Don't be afraid to use a little bit of speed too, but always punctuate it with those stops and pauses. All right, I can just feel the tide starting to push in now, so I'm going to work down this facing edge. The front of this shallow flat is facing the first of the incoming tide. It's a prime spot for a flatty to be lying in ambush. I work my way methodically along the edge facing the new tide, fanning my casts to the left by a few metres each time. And sure enough, oh yeah, got him. It's not very big. Had to be one up there. Oh. He's coming straight out at me. Oh, pulled the hook. He was never properly hooked. I never got properly tight on that fish. It's hard when they're coming straight at you like that. That's fishing. They don't all stick, and unfortunately that'd be my only hit in this narrow tidal window this morning. On an earlier visit at exactly the same moment in the tide and using the very same lure, I'd been a little bit luckier. There he is. Oh, he's not a big one, but he's in the spot. Lively little fish. I shouldn't say little, he's quite nice flatty. Oh, I need the small net. Got the big net in my hand. I'm looking for your big girlfriend, mate. Might not be too big to be an eater, that one. How big is it roughly? It's about a 55, so I'll take that one home for dinner. Perfect corner of the jaw hookup. And as you can see, the treble pulls out of the lure, which is good. Perfect eating size, 55. But it wasn't to be a repeat this morning, so I pull the pin on these flats in the lower estuary and start heading upstream, following that new tide as it floods in. There's plenty of other options. The first thing I'm going to do now is swap to my lighter spinning outfits and rig them up with a pair of these new Shimano Ligon surface lures in 2 different colours. As the nor'easter strengthens and the clouds break up, I begin casting these in some alleys between oyster leases, higher up in the system, and almost immediately my efforts are rewarded with a hookup. Flathead on the surface, much less uncommon than you might think too. Came up and smacked the Ligon. Got well and truly hooked on the front hook. Made a really distinctive sound when he clunked that Ligon too. I was almost sure it was a flathead straight away. He's legal too. I'll probably let him go. Nice little bonus when you're surface fishing for whiting and bream. But I reckon I'll keep pushing up even further with the tide. I've come well upstream in the system now. What I'm doing is following the rising tide, the front of the rising tide as it pushes up into this back channel. We're getting right back into farmland. You'll probably be able to hear the cows in a minute. But I can see a lot of bait fish coming in here, a lot of mullet in particular, and I'm sure that there'll be predatory fish looking for them. This is entirely different country to the areas I've been fishing so far. It's narrow, snag-studded and shallow. But as the tide floods in, so does the food. I'm sure there'll be fish worth catching back in here. So I work my way upstream with that pushing tide, picking a path between the shallow snags and the overhanging trees. It's tight water, but there's lots of life. Thank goodness for my Motor Guide electric. This would be tough to do without it. The secret is to make nice, long, accurate casts. Not easy in that strengthening wind. Oh yeah, come on. Still on it. I'm raising fish, but not hooking them yet. I'll keep working at it. I love this stuff. It's just so much fun and effective if you're nice and quiet and move slowly and make long casts. Now that's a good cast. Got him. Oh. What are you? Small. Little bream. They don't have to be monsters to be fun on topwater lures, and I know there'll be bigger ones in here somewhere. Slightly better one. Oh, that's not a bad bream. Wouldn't have got him without the stinger. Those trailing stinger hooks really do make a big difference. If you haven't tried them yet, give them a go, seriously. The wind's really whistling through the casuarinas now. I'm glad I'm up here and not down the front. The fishing's not bad either. Watch this. Flathead. flathead, a decent one too. He came right out of the water on that. This is remarkable. Oh, he's a good flatty. Oh, yes, he's a lovely fish. Oh, he swallowed it pretty deep. I hope he doesn't saw me off. I'm stuck in under the trees. Oh, I can feel his teeth on the fine leader. Bit of gardening. Lovely fish. Came, jumped, almost jumped out of the water when he took it. Oh, come on. Ooh, he doesn't like the look of that net. Oh, don't. Don't do that. It's when they saw their head like that. Getting a strife. Oh, I'm sure he's going to chew me off. I can feel so much damage on that leader. Oh. Damn, I just can't. Tree up above me and the rod's caught in it and I've got him. Oh. That was just a bit too hectic. Whew. Nice flatty on the lichen. What have you done with my lichen? Look at that. He's absolutely swallowed it. Get a quick length on him. He's about 56 or 58, so because he's got it down, I think I'll keep this one. That's about as big as I keep them these days. Certainly don't like to keep anything over 60. Oh, and as I suspected, that leader was down to cotton strength. Look where I got him from. This is so much fun. I'm following the leading edge of this rising tide and there's so much life in here. Brim and mullet and flathead. Now I've got to get that lichen out of there. I decide to leave the lure in the fish in the live well for the moment and grab the other outfit with the pink lichen. To be honest, the colour doesn't seem to be making any difference. Oh, another flathead came out of the water. Extraordinary. Oh, dropped him. That wasn't as big as the last one. Just check for scuffs. All good. Wow, this is amazing fishing. Back into it while the bite's hot. Yes, got him. Oh. That was a fairly subtle take. I'd say it's a small brim. Oh, he's got himself fouled up in the lure now. I can see lots of mullet and a few brim swimming around here. Yeah, it's just a little guy. You need to be a bit careful of all those sticky, sharp hook points. The clouds were all but gone now, although the nor'easter was howling. Not that it mattered too much back in here. Oh, yes, come on. Oh, brim. Got him, no, dropped him. Still one on it. Small. Oh no, that's not so small. I've got him too. What have we got? It's a whiting. Wow. Right up in here. A really nice whiting. Extraordinary. On pauses and pops too. Usually don't catch whiting that way. Oh, I shouldn't have lifted him, but anyway. Oh, he's a stud whiting. Not super fat, but he's long. Look at that. Wow, dark up here. Everything's dark up in these backwaters. Well, that one's coming home for my lunch. Got him on the stingers again. Oh, these lichens, they're so good. Look at that. That little flash boost mirror in there just trembling away. I think it makes a difference. I really do. I was running out of creek, but there was room for one more cast. Oh, yes. Oh, that's a better fish. Get out from under there. There's so many snags in. Oh, pulled the hook. That was a lovely brim. Bugger. Maybe there'll be some more up there. Oh, he's got me in a snag. No way. Got him out. It's a little bit better, Bren. Not much though. Can't believe he got me around a snag. I think the cows are telling me that it's time to turn around and start fishing my way out of the creek. I wonder how we'll go working back into the tide and the wind. Oh, come on. Got him. Right there again. It's the kind of release I like. But with the tide having almost peaked now, I figured it might be a good time to get out of this skinny little creek while I still could. After a reasonably slow start, it had actually been a great morning, thanks to chasing that tide front and being a bit versatile. I'd had a ball, and I had a couple of flatties and a whiting to feed the family. You can't ask for much more. I hope this little lesson in finding fish in our southern estuaries gives you a few ideas to pursue. But for now, this is Starlo wishing you tight lines.